Greetings, fellow traders, fellow here. It's time for the lunchtime market update for Thursday, September the 3rd, 2020. I hope everybody's having a great trading day today. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. All right, awesome. Let's check and see where we're at the market here today. So it's turned into quite a day today, right? So SPX down about 95 points, right? So it's no big deal there. But this wasn't really surprising us too much, right? We were getting pretty extended here. We pointed out on the weekly chart that the RSI was starting to get pretty close to the overbought areas. Not saying it warranted a 100-point down move, but we did have these gap magnets below, right? And we're approaching this dip here on the weekly chart on the cloud. We are still bullish, still proven otherwise, right? So as hard as it is to believe, but the upper trend line was basically just simply tested today, and it bounced off of that. So we do have a little bit of a push below here. So tomorrow, if we get some volume below these lows, we will get concerned to see if this open gaps get attacked, right? And then we start to work our way down to the 50-day moving average, which is also corresponding to an open gap down here. So we're kind of going into the rest of the day and into tomorrow with a little bit of caution, but really just a sharp down move. No real news on it. We did have the open gap that got filled there today, and we'll take a look at a few other names that were kind of signaling some stuff. I mean, the big thing was that the VIX was high yesterday with the market too, so you could see that market participants were nervous at these all-time highs, and just to get a little corrective pullback right here is really not a bad thing, right? Instead of because it's been pretty crazy here pushing its way up. We've been calling it the all-time high frenzy, and really we're kind of in that frenzy range anyway, right? There's a lot of nervousness. We're coming into a holiday weekend. A lot of dumping going on, so we've got that going on. But right now we're still kind of chopping around here at these levels. So let's see how it holds into the rest of the day. Let's take a look at the SPY here. So we definitely had some volume coming in on the SPY here today on the short side. You can see it's about lunchtime right here, and we're getting pretty close to yesterday's volume highs. So we've got that going on. This was a pretty cool move here. We had a triple top last night, both here on the SPY and on the ES. It was almost a quadruple top, right? And I'll show you on the ES in a little bit. But you can see here these tops, and then we got some steady move down, right? So it's not like this wasn't really signaling some weakness going in today. Now the amount of weakness that we had was a little bit more than expected, but that's okay. We did look at that. We had a big shooting star going to the open. We paused, right, and then we had that 15-hour breakdown, and are basically still holding the ADMA right now. So we'll see how that goes into the rest of the day. Let's take a look at the S&P futures. Okay, so S&P futures, right? We had several key levels that were tested. Now, in the group, we pointed this out as a short today. It was nice, right? We did Boeing long, which was great. It gave us a nice move at the open. But other than that, the overall market was pretty weak, right? And so once we broke down the 15-hour, but we lost a couple of these key signal zone levels, right? We shorted here on the SPY, right? This gave us another opportunity here. Now, we bounced off of this, right? This is the 9-1 volume levels right here. So we bounced off of that. Once we lost that, that gave us more inspiration. We had some good space here between signal zones, right? Down, inside 15, down. And then we bounced. We finally found a signal zone for support down here, which corresponded to that upper trend line that we pointed out in the SPX. It gave us a nice bounce. We got back above the signal zone, and now we're kind of just sort of chopping around here between these levels. Let's take a look at the MES and see how that's been behaving here today. Obviously the same overall. Let's take a look here. Sorry, guys. There we go. So MES here, again, same stuff, right? The key here is just to kind of keep track of the geometric lines and see how they hold today. All right, here's a recent downtrend here from the highs to the lows, right? We're starting to cross over here. So basically, if we could push above these levels, we might see a little more upside. Otherwise, this could just be a retrace, right? And potentially a momentum retrace, right? Even if we just go like from here to here, right? We can see we're about a 382, right? And that's that can be a momentum downside move. So let's just kind of see if we were going to wave 1, 2, and we might be starting to try our way back down here into the rest of the afternoon. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. The Qs were very weak going into the open. Don't forget, guys, we did gap down today across the board, and we had a triangle pre-market, and then we lost that. And then again, once we lost that 15-hour blow, see ya, right? So that gave us a nice move down, inside 15 down, a little bit of a rally down, inside 15 down again here on the Qs. Let's take a look at the IWM. They were trying to be strong today because the banks were relatively strong at the open, and the airlines got strong. Boeing held up the Dow for a little bit, and of course it lost it here. Double inside 5 down out of the 15-hour blow today, and it's working on a little bit of a rally right now. So we'll see how that goes into the rest of the day. Let's take a look at Apple. So guys, the big thing yesterday, right, we pointed out, I tweeted out yesterday the heat map, right? Apple was really kind of the big weak one right now. Statistically, after a split, right, it usually goes up for 2 days, and then over the course of 10 days, it ends up being down like 10%. So Apple, don't forget, is heavily weighted on the market, right? And yesterday gave us a bearish engulfing candle, right? So the real body engulfed the real body. We did bounce off the ADMA, so it wasn't super bearish. But today was pretty clear, right after we broke these lows, and we've talked about it last night in the live stream where we got it down. But look at that, we bounced right off the upper trend line right here today. So let's see how that holds going into the rest of the day. Now Tesla, had a 2 week days in a row, right? It had almost dark cloud cover right here. It had a not quite a bearish engulfing candle, had a big lower shadow, and it gapped down in this range, and it's still kind of put in a lower shadow right here. So we'll see how that kind of holds here on Tesla going into the rest of the day. But a lot of other names had hanging man type setups like Amazon, things like that. So again, we were just really cautious going into today, and not surprised to see the pullback. A little surprised to see the size of it, but it's okay because it's still holding our overall trend so far in the market. So good stuff there. Let's take a look at a couple other names here that played out interesting today. If you weren't short in the market, AMD was a good one, right? So this gave a full bearish engulfing candle yesterday, right? So we had this off of an inside day, right? That worked its way down. We got below the ADMA this morning. We gapped down nicely, and we got a nice flush to the downside. Here's a setup intraday, where it was weak going into the open, inside 15, and a beautiful 15-hour breakdown on AMD. We draw these channels on our live streams in the morning, right? They're just really important levels of consideration. So we can't really be full bullish until we break out of it, right? And look at it. We came right down to the bottom of the channel here this morning. We're kind of hanging out here right now. So cool stuff on that. And we like Boeing, right? Boeing was nice and strong this morning. We took it for a nice long move at the open. Just gave us a strong 15-minute candle for a pop right there, and the 5-minute candle was really nice and led us up to the highs of the morning, and it made for a nice trade. And of course, by this time, we weren't looking at shorting Boeing. We were busy with the market. So we had that going on there today. So good stuff. Let's take a look. We got a few chart requests out there. The first one that came in here is work. So Slack. It had a big move right the last couple days, right? So all the way up here, got into the cloud, and then it just kind of gave a bearish engulfing candle yesterday. We gapped down, and we're kind of holding this prior geometric line right now. So let's see how that holds. It's got earnings coming up pretty soon. RKT with earnings last night. It actually had good earnings, right? But it gapped down on that, and gave a little bit of news this morning, tried to pop it up, and then just kind of came down a little bit there. So really tough on the reversal now, but see how it holds and see if it can kind of work its way up over if the market decides to perk up over the next couple days. Disney looking actually kind of interesting right here. So one of the things you can do is you can get a channel here off of these levels, right? And you can see that right there, right off of that zone is where we ended up bouncing here today. So it was very bullish at the open, came down with the market, and then it bounced off of its channel low right here. So pretty cool stuff on Disney. Let's take a look at it on the daily chart. Again, it's just kind of hanging around up here. It's got an open gap above, so I do want to see if it holds and if it could try to work its way back up there. But again, a lot of caution here after today's knee-jerk reaction down, right? So Piton still kind of hanging in there too. Again, hanging man candle. We saw a lot of these yesterday down here, kind of a little bit of a bounce off the ADMA area. So let's see if that can hold on Piton going into tomorrow. A couple of the zombie ETF, zombie names that we talk about, right? So a lot of the Corona names, there may be some anticipation of a fresh vaccine coming out there, so these got hit. But again, they just got hit overall with the Nasdaq being down. And again, Zoom again had an epic run right here, right? You can see it's already kind of broken. Well, we got this right here, so it's kind of just channeling down right now. So a little bit of caution going Zoom forward as it's kind of eating into this gap right here. Uber's looking pretty interesting. It's been having some activity here recently, right? So inside day failed to break it down. So let's see if it closes green right here, it might try to work its way up, get over these levels, and if it can, we might test the top of that triangle there on Uber. And then Overstock. Let's take a look at Overstock here. So Overstock down about 3 points here today as it's continuing its descent, right? We talked yesterday about a potential momentum move through this trend box low, and you can see we're getting a shooting star off of that one. We may see the 50-day moving average here off of a couple days, and we got an open gap below as well, which kind of corresponds to the cloud level too on Overstock. So not really surprised to see the pullback after this crazy run up. So good stuff, guys. Really appreciate the chart requests and the ideas. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your trading day. Just stay cautious out there, right? Volatility's high, so it's putting option spreads all over the place. If you didn't catch the big move this morning, it's okay. There'll be other setups going forward. So again, just be careful out there and have a good trade. If you made profit this morning, definitely hold on to your profits, right? And we've got one more day tomorrow, and we'll see what they have in store for that. It might be a rally day, it might be a slow day, right? Because we're heading into a 3-day weekend coming up. So it could be one where they're just trying to dump their positions because nobody wants to hold over a 3-day weekend. So keep an eye out for that too. All right, guys. I hope everybody does great and stay healthy out there. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.